Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Capitalize Your Best podcast. My name is Gordon Duncan. I'm the owner of Capitalize Marketing and Consulting. And this show is part of the larger Capitalize Your Best podcast network of shows. On Mondays, we have This Is Gonna Hurt, which is a personal growth podcast helping you make a better you. On Tuesdays, we have Coach Training Partners, which is a show that helps coaches create programs and increase their revenue. On Wednesdays, we have Capitalize Your Best, this show, which is our business and marketing growth podcast. On Thursdays, we don't have a formal podcast, but we do have a live 11 a.m. Capitalize coaching call within the Capitalize Your Best community. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And then on Fridays, we have our pop culture podcast. You're entitled to your opinion. But friends, thanks so much as always for tuning in. Your likes, your shares, your comments, subscriptions, they all mean so much. I'm so glad you're here. I recently had the opportunity to do something completely different. I held a Capitalize Your Wellness mindful movement workshop. Now, what's that? Well, a mindful movement workshop is a series of guided movements. Think like stretching or yoga, where you hold positions for a very long time, just settle in, relax. Then you have a series of affirmations that you either say or listen to. And at the same time, you have binaural beats in the background. Binaural beats are frequencies that allow the brain to either focus or allow them to relax. Now, people do mindful movements, lots of different ways. That's the way I did it. And I put together that workshop because it's a series of activities that I do both to stretch at the end of working out, but then also it helps me to relax and it helps me to focus. So I held my very first Capitalize Your Wellness Mindful Movement workshop this past weekend. We had several people attend. We had both clients of Capitalized Marketing attend, and we had people from the local apartment complex near my co-working space attend. So I had people there that I knew and folks I'd never met before. It was a bit of a risk for me. I've never done it before. It's part of my Capitalize Your Best life exposure for that program. I wanted to get people to know about that, but it was something brand new. I've never led anything like that before. It was a bit of a risk, but I found great joy by doing something brand new. It was good for me to show a new side of myself. It showed me how to market something a little bit different than what I typically market. And ultimately, I was really pleased with how it turned out, and I'm going to do it all over again. Following my very first Capitalize Your Wellness workshop, I learned several things. And I thought, well, I wanted to share them with you because whenever you take a risk within your business, whether that be a new program, a new marketing approach, a new offer, whenever you take a risk, you wind up reaping rewards. You really do. Even if what you do doesn't go well, you're going to reap these rewards. And I wanted to share them with you. One reward that happens when you take a risk in your business is you develop new skills. Anytime you say, okay, I'm going to offer a new program, or I'm going to offer a new class, or I'm going to do my marketing in a different way, or I'm going to go into a new platform, what happens when you do that is you begin to develop new skills. You begin to like, oh, I've got to think in this certain way if I'm going to offer this program, or I've got to learn the personality of this social media profile. Whatever the case may be, whenever you start taking risks within your business, when you try to grow, you begin developing new skills. Quite honestly, you're never going to develop a new skill unless you take a risk. Yes, repetition over something you already know how to do is going to make you better, but that's an improvement of an existing skill. If you want to grow your business, you're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to show up in a different way. You're going to have to present yourself in a different way. And when you do that, you begin to develop new skills. And those new skills will help you in terms of growth, in terms of management, in terms of expansion. And it's just not possible for you or your business to grow unless you take a risk. But risk takers within the business develop new skills, and eventually those new skills will reap a reward. One benefit of taking a risk in your business, one reward from taking a risk in your business is you reach new clients. You see, when you take a risk, and you offer that new program or that new service, or you begin marketing on a different platform, you're going to reach different people. And by doing that, reaching a new population of people, you then reach new clients. You see, yes, your present systems of growth, whether it be marketing, email, social media, whatever the case may be, they will grow. You're going to get referrals, you're going to get new clients that way. But when you take a risk, when you try something brand new, that exposes you to new people. It exposes you to perhaps a different audience than what you would normally be exposed to. And that is an ideal way to gain new clients. Yes, of course, you've got to hone that new skill. As you take that risk, you've got to get better at what you're doing. And as you do that, you will eventually get better and better, and new clients will see you. They will realize that you are the solution to their problems. And then that's the way you're going to gain new clients. But you've got to be willing to take a risk. One of the rewards of taking a risk within your business is that it separates you from your competition. We're definitely in a play safe era of businesses. The economy is tough. There's a future that's in doubt. We've got issues with high gas prices, and we've got wars, and we've got internal conflicts, and people are distracted by social media. And because of that, a lot of companies are playing it safe right now. They're not doing anything new and not doing anything innovative. When you take a risk, you separate yourself from the competition. I remember when I decided to publish the Capitalize Your Best Daily Reader. I've published books before, and that's been something that we've done in Capitalize. We help people publish books before. But the Daily Reader was something different. It was a day-to-day tool that I wanted to develop an entire curriculum around. And it's going to be a different focus than just our marketing. And I had to wonder, am I putting myself out there? Is this too big of a risk? But the publishing of the book has got us new clients, developed new skills, and more than anything else, it's separated Capitalize from our competition. No one else is doing that in our area, and very few people are doing it across the country. It was a risk worth taking. So the question you've got to ask for you is, what risk can you take that will separate you from the competition? Because if you're not taking risk, you're staying the same and you're playing it safe. And that's what your competition is already doing. But if you take a risk and you develop a skill and you reach those new clients, you're going to eventually separate yourself and you will be distinct. Now, if you take that risk, you've got to go all in. You can't just try a little bit and then back away. You've got to go all in, develop that skill, reach those new clients. But if you do that, you will truly separate yourself from your competition. Friends, one of the ways to separate yourself from the competition, and one way you can take a risk that will actually pay a reward, is by joining us in the Capitalize Your Best online community. This is not a social media based community. There are no algorithms, there's no spam, there's no none of that. It's a separate online community where there's daily coaching. There are the weekly 11 a.m. Capitalize coaching call that I mentioned earlier. We have the Wednesday night book club accountability group. We have paid and free courses within there, and we have end of month seminars. It's worth the investment. And right now, if you reach out to me, I have a 7-day free trial. And then after that trial, it's $29 a month. And friends, like I always say, that's cheaper than a tank of gas, and it's going to take you a lot further. So take the risk of joining the community, meet a group of people that are growth oriented, they're minded like you are. Take that risk, develop the skills that you find there, separate yourself from the competition, and grow your business. As always, friends, I appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks so much, friends. Bye-bye.